Another episode. Here we are. Tony King, how are you, my brother?
And Michael Valdez.
With an S, thank you. And we've got somebody who's got as much energy as the two of us. It's going to be really scary.
It's going to be fun.
The one and only Daniel Lake.
Just got back from eXp Europe.
So did I.
Traveling the globe. Were you guys on the same plane or like?
No, I got back 2 days ago. How about you?
Friday.
All right. So, wait, you hit a couple of spots. Where did you go?
Yeah, I went up to Paris, drove to Switzerland, went down to Rome, and then Portugal, and then Spain.
Yeah.
And up to Barcelona.
I love that.
29 days.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm building.
I did 21 days. So you did a little bit more. So that was good. You were gone a month.
Yeah.
And you recorded the whole way.
Of course.
Yeah.
Every step.
2,000 photos.
But that's the beauty of what you've built, giving you the freedom to take a month off.
Yeah.
And while you were still working, but still.
No, I didn't bring my laptop.
Whoa! I love it.
I was just recording, family time.
That is so awesome. All right, let's start from the beginning. Let's wind it back. How'd you get started in this business?
Story.
What's your story?
Well, family was always in the real estate business as I grew up.
Yes.
So right after high school.
And where'd you grow up?
Here in Dallas.
You are a Dallas native.
Dallas native. Parents are originally from Hong Kong.
Okay.
I was actually from a small village in China. Both immigrants, and got into real estate. They saw the American dream, started investing in properties. I saw that growing up, and doing maintenance on properties, and I knew that I wanted to take it to the next level. So right after high school, I got my real estate license before going to college in Europe. And 2001, I came back, and I knew that this is where I was going to be. So didn't want to leave Europe, but
Where did you go to school in Europe?
in Switzerland.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I studied banking and finance, and I knew that this was the field, but of course, it has evolved over the 20-something years I've been in the industry.
Yes. We just talked about that whole sort of like immigrant story.
Yeah.
Right? Where.
First generation mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Where there is that mindset of you can't fail, right? It's not even an option. And you just figure it out. And so whether it's, I was first generation of immigrants, and that's also that story because that's what your lens is, right? And it's also the fact that it's not even an option.
Yeah.
You just got to figure it out, right?
I'm from Detroit, so that's almost kind of like
There's first generation Detroit
That's
in
right.
here,
That's
into
right.
Dallas. So you got it. So same lens. Probably a different lens in Detroit, right?
Much different lens.
But there is that sense, right? Do you agree with that?
No, I agree. I mean, because at a young age, I would go back to Hong Kong for my summer.
Yeah.
And just going back and forth, and my grandparents, they sacrificed a lot for their 7 boys.
Wow.
The uncles, and they sold their, they had some buildings in Hong Kong. They sold everything because they wanted to try to have a better life for their kids. So they sent everyone to the U.S., to Europe, wherever they could get them to go, and they sold off everything. And,
wow.
My dad would bring me back to these buildings that my grandparents used to own. And if you look at the real estate in Hong Kong, you can imagine how many hundreds of millions of dollars, because it's not just a little shop. It was actually a whole building.
Wow.
Just imagine, and then the location, right? Real estate's about location.
Sure.
So, and every time I go back, I take my children there now, and I said, this is, where, we're here in the U.S. because of our great, forefathers selling, and moving us to the U.S.
Are you sure you're not sort of saying, damn it, that could have been ours? Are you sure you're not saying that to your grand? Like, God damn it, why did they sell? Are you sure that was on the conversation?
If only.
No.
And training them, I'm not selling nothing.
So now we're not selling anything.
We're selling That's right. Everything's an investment. Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, so
Everything's leased now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so you got licensed, you got into the family business, and then tell me how. This explains a lot about his commercial real estate sort of like, because we're gonna get right into that. You probably are our most successful commercial real estate agent or one of them.
I was gonna say you're about to start a whole thing, Michael. You don't want to go down this. You're definitely one of the most successful.
Yeah, they are. All right.
You say number one, then you're gonna have phone calls. I'm gonna get the call.
All right, that's fine. So.
and success is the defined.
There you go. Good
That's
answer.
true.
Yeah.
Very good answer, right?
Production,
That's always good.
There's so many things with this opportunity.
That's right.
So.
That's right. So your focus is commercial now, yeah?
Yeah, it's always been commercial, and throughout, like I said, throughout the years have of course changed. And when we had our financial crisis back in 2008, just had to pivot of like what we wanted to do and how we're gonna keep hold of the assets, because those were all scary times.
Yes.
For a lot of people who own properties at the time and leveraging.
Yeah. It's still a scary time to think about sort of like commercial real estate
commercial right now is still still.
As I'm saying, as an asset class, right?
In every cycle, right?
Sure.
Real estate's in a cycle, and you just have to always be agile, right? Look at opportunities.
100%.
Right? And there's, in a downturn, there's always opportunities. So
more opportunities.
That's always what I sort of say.
Yeah.
I always sort of say that there's like greatness happens in downturns. Because that's where people's lenses sort of differ at that point. And you see where there is, because if we're all in a great economy, we're all busy, right? There is no time to pause and think about how things can get better or where there's opportunities within things, right? In 2009, WhatsApp came into existence, Uber came into existence, eXp came into existence, right? All of those things were 2009 because there were opportunities that happened in that space because everything was in a downturn, right? And so when you start, we're not in that extreme now, but we are in a different market, right, than we were a few years ago, and especially in the commercial market, right? If you're in a commercial side of the segment, after COVID, there was a really big hit with commercial. So there's that shift. How do you see opportunity within those markets now, since that's what your lens is?
Well, same thing with having opportunities, looking at different lenses. Agents have to change the mindset to be an entrepreneur, right? And if you're just getting your license to be an agent, then yes, you can just join anyone. But if you're really serious to be in this business, you have to think like entrepreneur. Because that's correct. That business owner is going to be taking in ups and downs, and when COVID happened, we saw that the retail office sector got hit hard, and industrial went crazy. The industrial market is almost like retail rents. If you look at we could never imagine. I was at an industrial panel the other day listening, and nobody could imagine from $30 being sold for $150 now, and just things like that.
Yeah.
So how critical is it to know when and how to pivot? And how do you figure that out for your business, your brand? When is it time to pivot, or when do you just double down?
Well, if you look at the commercial industry, you look at it as a whole, and the age category and the demographics of that, a lot of them, you can see that they're not pivoting. And they're eventually, it's like a dinosaur group. In residential, I've always seen that they've always been on top of things of technology, resources, and marketing, things like that. And when I remember about 10 years ago when I bought the 3D Matterport, for the commercial space. I was one of the first commercial people who were doing that. And it had been
residential for years.
Yeah.
And because I did have a residential team, I had 2 other partners, and I saw that. I was like, well, this would be great for the commercial space. Of course, people didn't really see to it, but then COVID hit. Guess what? My leases,
you were positioned.
I already positioned. I had 3D scans on the spaces. It worked out perfect. But you gotta, as an entrepreneur, you gotta be forward thinking.
Right.
And I think that's really gonna be the most important for people who are gonna survive. You have to think, outside the box and be forward thinking.
As I'm sitting here, commercial is such a part of our industry that people are afraid of. They're intimidated by it, right? Just sitting here, you're talking about industrial, warehouse, retail, commercial, right. And so all of those terms are intimidating to a regular residential real estate agent. And so, but they probably are fascinated in a lot of ways. Like, how would you suggest somebody who has an interest in commercial to start jumping into it?
So I think in the past in the industry, because we're 2 separate animals. Right?
Yes.
And there were these resi-commercial companies that started up in the franchise world. And what eXp did was we were actually 2 separate entities, 2 separate companies, but at the same time we still collaborate.
Right.
And because of that collaboration, there are classes within the platform. And there's, and I think with our realtor associations, they also have a commercial component where I think a lot of agents should, invest time. Right, and I told agents, if right now in the industry, you feel like it's slow. Well, guess what? You need to invest time because when it's busy, you don't have time for it.
That's so true.
And that's what happened in 2008, 2007, 2009. I went to invest time, and I met my business partner, Calvin Long, at the CCIM destination.
Yeah.
That's how we met, and because of that, taking our time to invest in ourselves, we got to meet great partners, and we've been partners since 2012 till now.
Made a few $1 million since then too, so yeah, that's incredible. So, well, congrats on your success, man. So what's next, right? What's next for commercial industry, but specifically for your team and your brand?
Well, I think for our team and the network and the organization that we're growing is we're focusing on this year is really focusing on building up more, bringing on more commercial practitioners to understand the platform, understand the opportunities, because it is a very new concept, right? Understanding.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll come back because I sparked something.
Yeah. So and that's the first 3 years of being in this platform has been just organizing everything, understanding from other leaders, learning, R&D, rip off and duplicate.
That's it.
From everyone, and just learn and collaborate, right? And giving back into the company because everyone is giving back, right? Because we're owners and shareholders of the company. So it's a very different mentality when I see that. And because I was a franchise owner, and agents were always my agents. I took on the risk. But now moving to this platform, this allows everyone to be on the same level. And it's up to us as entrepreneurs if we want to grow.
I love that. Everybody gets the same opportunity. We were just talking with another team leader about that, and the fact that one of the biggest differences between a franchise model and the opportunity here is that everyone gets a shot. Everyone gets the same opportunity, the same benefits, and the same ability to grow and be that real estate entrepreneur, not just a salesperson, but an actual real estate business owner or real estate entrepreneur.
Correct.
So, can you talk a little bit about just on the commercial landscape, the differences between any other differences, I guess, between EXP and opportunity here versus one of them is caps, right? And with Sean Murphy I'm spending a lot of time with Sean Murphy, our SVP of commercial, and he's been incredible in sort of opening some ideas and stuff as well. But what's your perspective, I guess, on EXP versus the commercial landscape?
Well, people need to understand that we are a publicly traded company, so that checks off one big box that we're one corporate company, not a franchise. Second is, yes, we have that 80-20 split, $20,000 cap, which is unheard of.
Right.
$20,000 cap, which is unheard of in the commercial sector.
Correct.
Right.
And
that's half a deal.
That's half a deal.
One deal.
Maybe one deal. And another thing is also the icon. We finally got the icon status for eXp Commercial. So for a top producer, they were getting that $20,000 up to $20,000 back in stock as well. So that was a big thing, and we didn't have that 3 years ago, but we have it this year, and that's a big plus for continued growth in the commercial sector. Another thing is just having the different tools, right? Having that Regis access. When I was in Europe, I was able to access that Regis office as I needed to, and just those things are unheard of. Leveraging technology, leveraging partnerships with a larger publicly traded company as a boutique. And I'm not saying that we couldn't be boutique. Your team can be boutique.
Yes.
But corporately, the platform is not boutique. We're global. And that's why, I went to Portugal for that reason and making those connections on the commercial side. And because raising capital, as a commercial practitioner, you need to raise capital and buy more assets. Well, guess what? We met with people from Dubai, India. They're all interested in the US. They just need to find that connection. And that's why it's important for, the shareholders to actually come together, right? That's why we used to have a shareholder summit. We have these global events. It's important, we have there's so many events that we need to go to. And it's not just to have fun, right? We always have fun, but it's also making those connections.
It's so important as you start thinking about that. I want to go back to something that we've been talking about, which is legacy, right? And you said that you came in because of your parents. And so what's the next generation, your children?
Yep.
Is there an interest in that? Is that the master plan?
Well, so after we created our organization, called We Partners Network, and it's building that legacy. So my children will inherit the assets just like I would as we continue to grow it. But the thing is, they can sell everything, they can gamble it away. I can't control that when we got to the home with it, right?
Yeah.
So when eXp says, oh, it's willable, my position is willable, what does that mean? That means everyone's position is willable, meaning that the network continues on, and my children and my partner's children's, everyone is coming together in the network. So we're building. So that's why it's very powerful that you can create an organization where it is generational wealth, creating that legacy. Hopefully, our children get together, leadership camps and things like that. So we're working on a leadership camp for our kids. So they come together, they can mastermind. They may not get into the real estate. That's okay.
They don't have to.
But they need to have the right people to help manage the assets,
The skill set.
the skill set, the leadership, and hopefully they don't make that many mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
That's right.
But at the same time, there are certain mistakes we don't want to make, right? Like selling all the assets.
Yeah. Right. I knew he was still holding. I knew he was holding on to that. Yeah.
There's a number there. This is what my network should be.
He wouldn't be sitting here with us. I love it. What business book are you reading right now that you would recommend?
So business book, I mean, I was just going back on podcasts. Every time I'm driving, I'll have a podcast going. I heard Ed Milet.
Yeah, awesome, isn't he? Yes.
And just
Is he a powerful speaker?
he was a powerful speaker.
I know. Storyteller.
Great.
I was in Europe when I was driving. So I drove 3,200 kilometers, and I was listening to Napoleon Hill.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
just listening to that. My kids were like, "What are you listening to?" But they were sleeping, and then I was, so they
So good stuff.
Yeah, so it's just listening to stuff, powerful stuff. It's important to always just rethink, re-listen to things, and because you can be transactional, or you can find something to help people for low growth.
That's right.
And I found my calling really. This eXp platform really. I found my calling to help people in the industry. Hopefully, they can save money, invest in real estate. Because as a franchise owner in the past, my goal was, go sell, make money, cover my franchise costs, cover my expenses, and that was it. And now I don't have to worry about that. And it's focused like, hey, how can we grow together? How can I help you make sure that you're investing in real estate so you have to passive income as well?
Right.
So it's not just the brokerage side. So really appreciate the opportunity that this platform has given us, and all the people that I've connected in the past 3.5 years. It's incredible.
Even more than the EXP price.
I saw that. I see that David over there.
I love
That's
that.
cool.
It's like so cool.
I love that. True believer over here.
It's all about subtle
Are
advertising.
those EXP stocks too? So here's a question. So if you're speaking back to 20 years ago, or someone that wants to sort of follow those footsteps, what would you tell that person? What's the road to hitting where you are now?
So I think the most important is, I did take the success coaching certification.
Okay.
And understanding the DISC profile at an earlier stage of our life, I think would have helped.
What's this for people that don't know?
So basically, it's a personality profile test, or just understanding assessment, and just it's communication, right? I think the key to any kind of leadership and growth is understanding how to communicate more than key. And just understanding people's personality profiles, I think will be very helpful. So anyone 20 years, if you're asking me that question, any young generation getting into the business, or any person getting in the business, I think that would be a very good start.
So they take their DISC profile, they understand who they are, what their most effective means of communication and understanding are, how do they best relate to the other types within that DISC profile, right? So now that they understand that, what are the steps that they need to take to be successful and end up where you ended up? Or you have
Well, because then they're focusing on their strengths.
Gotcha.
Right? So once you understand your personality, what you're focusing on, because a lot of times we try to focus on what we're not strong, and we get stuck. And it takes a longer time to get, and where you can hire a VA or hire someone to handle those other things that you're not good at, that you don't want.
And I'm a high need to switch.
I feel
High, got my D there. Low S&C.
I love it. How do people find you, Daniel? You've given so much information here. They're going to want to find you.
They can find me on Instagram at Daniel Ing TX, or Facebook, Daniel C. Ing, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also Daniel Ing.
What are the opportunities you have right now? Are you recruiting your team expanding? Are you doing your rep your group, or you got something you're selling courses, products? What would you do?
No, my
What do you sell?
I'm selling some noodles.
My
My noodle shop is at Nugget.
Oh my God.
But
Serial
no,
entrepreneur here. He does
Just
all
open
the
up in
good
Frisco.
work. Yeah, right.
sell fortune cookies.
I love it.
So no, I think the main thing right now is focus on finding good partners. As any organization, you can't do it yourself. Identifying good leaders, good partners that come in for growth. I mean, that's exactly what our leaders have been doing.
Yes.
So, and you know, if you're looking for all new agents, guess what? You're going to be busy teaching new agents. If that, but
Careful
if,
what you wish for.
but if
That's
what
right.
you- but if that's what you want to do, just be prepared.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And have a system
You can do that.
and have those things and have the time. But if your goal is to grow an organization, and the thing is, you have to understand this platform helps agents to become shareholders. Become,
Yes.
you know, and it's actually something good. So that's why you
Yes.
have to share this model, because if you don't believe in that, then you're not sharing, and that's why a lot of people don't grow, is they don't really understand what they have. You know,
This is where
I love
pros
this.
go to grow.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
Pros go to grow. So
That's it. And I always sort of say that EXP was a gift, and if you always think about just sharing a gift,
That's it.
you'll never recruit a day in your life.
Yeah.
Because if that person isn't ready to receive the gift,
It's okay.
give it to somebody else.
That's it.
That's
It's
it.
okay.
that's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Danny, you're amazing. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
time today. This is
It's been
amazing.
awesome. I love it.
I know.
I'm back again.
And again,
Yeah.
and he's just down the street.
That's right.
So I like
Pick
it.
him up.
This
Pick
is
him up
great.
on the way next time.
This has been awesome. Thank you, Daniel.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all of you for watching. We'll see you on the next one. TMI.
TMI. We'll see you next time.
I love it.